Everyone, today we are going to discuss about applications of Gauss's law. Now it is really easy to find electric field using Gauss's law in case of any system having symmetric charge distribution. Now here we are going to consider three such systems. They are uniformly charged infinitely long straight wire, and uniformly charged infinitely long plane sheet, and the last one is uniformly charged thin spherical cell. So let us first consider uniformly charged wire of infinitely long straight. So let's consider a straight wire which is uniformly long. It is uniformly charged, infinitely long and uniformly charged, and consider that its linear charge density is lambda coulomb per meter, which is linear. Okay, so suppose you have to find electric field at this point P, which is at a distance r. Now if you draw a circle of radius r around this wire, you can see that if you take this point, this point, this point, at this point, at anywhere, the electric field density will be same. These points are all equivalent. Now to find the direction of the electric field at this point, we can take consecutive points at same distance from this point. Now for this point, the electric field direction will be like this if it is positively charged, and if it is negatively charged, the direction would be in this direction. Similarly for this element, this will be like this, and the resultant will be always like this, provided the wire is positively charged. And if the wire is negatively charged, then the electric field will be in this direction. So just consider that the wire is positively charged and the linear charge density is lambda coulomb per meter, and for that the electric direction of the electric field will be radially outward, which is the at point P, which is at a distance r from the wire. Now to find the electric field at P, we will consider a closed surface. Now this closed surface is considered according to the problem or according to the symmetry. So here we will consider a Gaussian surface which is basically cylindrical. So we consider a Gaussian surface, a cylinder of radius r and say length l. So the total charge inside the Gaussian surface, the charge is on this wire. The Gaussian surface is of length l, so the charge inside the Gaussian surface Q equals to lambda l. Now we are going to apply Gauss's law. So the total charge enclosed by this Gaussian surface, which is a closed surface, is Q equals to lambda l. So the total flux coming out from this Gaussian surface is phi equals to Q by epsilon naught. Now again we know that flux we can write as phi equals to E dot S. Now here we have to consider there are actually three surfaces, two such circular surfaces, and another one is a curved surface, this one is another surface. Now if you see, for these two circular surfaces, the area vector is perpendicular in this direction, outward perpendicular, and electric field because of this wire is always radially outward, either this direction or that direction, you can take any. So for these two surfaces, electric field and the area vector are mutually perpendicular. So for these two cases, the total flux will be 0. So we are only left out with the last surface, which is basically the curved surface. Now for this surface, the area vector is also in this direction perpendicular, and the electric field is also in the same direction. So they are actually in the same direction. So we can write the total flux For this one is 0, for this one is 0, so only remains because of this one. So for this one we can write phi equals to, now here we already have told that E and S are in the same direction, so E dot S cos 0, cos 0 means 1, so E multiplied by S equals to Q by epsilon naught. Now the surface area of the curved surface is 2 pi RL Q by epsilon. So the electric field at this point is Q by 2 pi RL epsilon naught. Now we already know Q equals to lambda L, so we are going to put that value. L cancel out, so you can write lambda divided by 2 pi epsilon naught R. And if you take this direction, the unit vector along this as n cap, you can write here E vector equals to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught R n cap. Now here you can see the electric field actually varies as proportional to R, not 1 by R square, right? Now let us move to the next system. Now let us find out the electric field due to a uniformly charged infinitely plane sheet. Now consider a plane sheet which is uniformly charged and its surface charge density is say sigma. Suppose we have to find the electric field at a point P, which is somewhat closer to it. Okay. Now we have to draw a Gaussian surface. You can draw a Gaussian surface as a cylinder or as a parallel pipe. Okay. Both that case the result will be same. So we consider cylinder. Now similar to the previous situation, the electric field will be like this, in this direction like this, and in this direction in the right side, in this direction in the left side it is in this direction. So this is the direction of the electric field. And suppose this surface area is A. Similarly this will be A, and here the area it will cut, this will also be A. So the total charge inside this Gaussian surface lies on this plane. Surface charge density is sigma, which is charge per unit area. So inside this Gaussian surface the total charge Q is sigma into A. Now we will apply Gaussian law. Gaussian law is the total flux coming out of this closed surface is phi equals to Q by epsilon naught. Now again we know phi is E dot A. Now here are actually three surfaces, two circular surface and another one is curved surface. Now for these two circular surfaces the area vector is in this direction, and for this one in this direction. For this closed surface, at this point the area vector is in this direction, at this point area vector is in this direction. So for this curved surface the area vector and electric field are mutually perpendicular, so there will be no flux coming through this curved surface, but there will be flux through this surface and through this surface. In both the surfaces S and E are in the same direction. So for each surface we will get total flux. For each surface the flux will be E into S or E into A, whatever. Okay. So total flux because of these two surfaces will be phi equals to 2EA, which is equals to Q by epsilon naught. So E will be equals to Q by 2EA epsilon naught. Now Q equals to sigma A by 2A by epsilon naught. So A cancel, sorry, E should not be here. So A cancel out, so sigma by 2 epsilon. Now if you take the if you take n cap as the unit vector, which is suppose along the direction of the electric field, okay, here it will be in this direction and here it will be in this direction. So you can write E vector equals to sigma by 2 epsilon naught n cap. So this is the field due to an infinitely large plane sheet. Now let us move to the final condition situation. So we are going to find out field due to a uniformly charged thin spherical shell. So consider a thin spherical shell. Now there are 2 points where we have to find the electric field. One is a point which is outside this cell and another one which is inside this cell. So first let us consider field outside the cell. So suppose this is our spherical cell, okay, and it has surface charge density as sigma. And suppose the radius is r, okay, this thickness is very small. So the total charge on the sphere will be almost equals to 4 pi r square into sigma. Now let us consider a point outside the cell. Say this is P and we have to find the electric field at this point. Now we will consider a Gaussian surface which is essentially a sphere. If you see from the symmetry, at all points on this surface, the magnitude of electric field because of the charge in this thin shell will be same. And it will definitely be radially outward. So at this point the direction of the electric field is definitely along this direction. Okay. Again the area vector at this point for this surface will again be in this direction. Now suppose the distance of the point P from the center is r. Okay. Now we will apply Gauss's law that the total flux, if the total charge inside this, now inside this Gaussian surface, the total charge is the charge of the sphere, charge of the spherical shell, which is Q. So Q by epsilon naught. Now again phi you can write E dot A. Now at every point on this Gaussian surface, the direction of E and S are same. So you can easily write phi equals to E. Now the area of this Gaussian surface is 4 pi r square equals to Q by epsilon naught. So U will be equals to 1 by 4 pi r square Q by epsilon naught. Just rearranging a little bit, you can write 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. So this is exactly same if the total charge was situated at this point instead of on a cell. So the situations are exactly same. For a cell at a distance r, the electric field is like this, and if the total charge Q are placed at this point, so you will still get the same value of electric field. Now let us find out the electric field inside the cell. Now suppose the radius of the cell is r and we want to find the electric field at point P. So for that, if we consider a Gaussian surface, a sphere like Gaussian surface, we see that all the charge of the cell placed like this. Okay, so inside this Gaussian surface there is no charge. Since there is no charge, we can write phi equals to 0. Phi equals to Q by epsilon 0. So Q is 0, there is no charge inside, so this will be equals to 0. So we can write E A equals to 0. Now this has some certain area of this Gaussian surface, so A cannot be 0. So the only possible case is equals to 0. So there is no electric field inside the spherical cell.